The wait is finally over. Cyberpunk 2077 on SteamDeck with official FSR2 support. How does it look? How does it run? And why did it take so long? Have a seat, fellow samurais. This will be a wild and exclusive Deckverse ride. While Cyberpunk 2077 already had a dedicated SteamDeck preset before, the result wasn't very convincing. Thanks to the work of mod developer Potato of Doom, we could at least take an experimental glimpse at what the game's performance could be utilizing AMD's superior FSR2 solution. It was anything but stable, and the regular glitches as well as ghosting were hardly enjoyable side effects. But today is the day. With update 1.61, the game finally received the real deal in terms of performance optimizations available to the SteamDeck gang. AMD's Fidelity Super Resolution 2.1, which we have to simply call FSR2 according AMD's naming guidelines, is comparable to Nvidia's deep learning supersampling, short DLSS, but without big green walls around it. Long story short, the game renders at a lower base resolution while FSR2 pushes the output through an advanced upscaling and sharpening pipeline to make the result on your screen looks like natively rendered. In the past, both the game and the SteamDeck itself had to resort to FSR 1.0, which objectively looks and performs worse due to its static nature. Short story even shorter, especially on devices with an AMD GPU such as the SteamDeck, the performance can finally hit a decent power level.
Vegeta, what does the scouter say about his power level? It's over 9,000! What, 9,000? There's no way that can be right! Cut it!
I think it's right.
Without further ado, let's dive in. But first let me remind you that a simple click on the subscribe button would tremendously help with this project of mine. For the sake of comparison, I decided to showcase 3 different scenarios in Night City. An intense shootout with Maelstrom doing an early mission of the game, which shouldn't spoil too much for you. An atmospheric stroll through the Cherry Blossom Market, and last but not least a joyride through the heavy traffic of the heart of Night City. While the official in-game benchmark would also act as a good data point, to my experience it's anything but a fitting representation of the game's overall real-world performance. The official SteamDeck graphics preset got introduced in patch 1.5.2, but arrived in a bad state. It was a mix of high and ultra settings and had a hard time keeping the game locked at 30 FPS. With the Big Edge Runners update 1.6, they released a more polished version of that preset, which resulted in a better overall stability. 30 FPS with some regular dips into the mid-20s. Instead of ultra, most settings were pushed back to high instead, with some other adjustments in terms of shadows, level of detail and the lowest crowd density option. The latter helps with a good amount of more CPU headroom. The old FSR at ultra quality did the final trick, and the result is anything but unpleasant to look at, especially on the SteamDeck screen. There are still some caveats, such as the in-engine framerate cap, which results in a bad frame pacing most of the time, and some of the chosen settings being a bit overkill at 800p overall. Due to the lack of native FSR2, this was still the get-go option for anyone just looking to enjoy the game without further tinkering. At least if you're able to deal with 30 FPS. Patch 1.61 is here, and next to the long-awaited FSR2 implementation, it seems that CDPR didn't change anything of the SteamDeck preset accordingly. Unsurprisingly though, the addition of FSR2 results in a way better overall performance and stability. As you can see, the framerate goal of 30 FPS can be kept more consistently, and aside from the usual data streaming stutters during quick traverse, the official SteamDeck preset results in a solid 30 FPS experience now. The thing is, aside from a more stable frame rate, the game still relies on its own FPS limiter, which results in anything but a good frame pacing. If you plan to play the game on a locked 30 through CDProjektRed's preset, I would actually recommend to resort to the SteamDeck quick menu's Wayland framerate limit. This will ensure perfect frame pacing, but also introduce additional input latency. The choice is yours. While the SteamDeck preset now definitely works as intended and delivers an enjoyable experience, especially in light of today's FSR2 implementation, I knew that you are all here for the good stuff. So I'm proud to present to you Cyberpunk 2077 running with the Golden 40. Aside from minor hiccups and rare small dips, Night City truly shines at 40 FPS by 40 Hz on the Steam Deck. There are high chances that you are new here, so you may ask what's all the fuss about the rule of Golden 40. But don't worry, as I got you covered in an older video where I tried to extensively explain why the Golden 40 will change your way of life on Valve's amazing piece of tech. So make sure to check it out later. This set of settings is meant to ensure the best compromise of visuals and performance. 40 FPS also massively helps with less input lag and therefore in the game's many combat scenarios. So it's obvious that this preset shines the most during the Maelstrom fight, where consistent frame pacing aside from rare minor dips ensures the most fluid gameplay on the Steam Deck. Exploring Night City without bigger stutters is great as well, and the 800p display panel set to 40 Hz does a great job here. Sadly, you still have to expect some issues in heavy traffic due to the game's data streaming. But as you can see, the framerate dips are actually smaller than before, which for example is also a result of setting the texture quality to medium, which of course also pays off on the cherry blossom market. Important disclaimer though, aside from being a framerate goal and not able to always pull off a perfect locked 40, the Golden 40 is meant to ensure the most fluid gameplay and doesn't really aim towards better battery life at all. Still, if you want to squeeze out the most playtime, you can easily proceed to use the same set of settings, but then set the refresh rate to 60 Hz, lock the framerate to 30, and maybe even want to lower the FSR2 quality to balanced. Otherwise, you will have to deal with an average playtime of up to 2 hours. There you have it, Cyberpunk 2077 at 40 FPS. There's still room for improvements, but it's a good start nonetheless. I'm pretty sure that CDProjektRed will in general further improve the game, which might even result in a better official preset for the Steam Deck. You may even want to go a bit further in terms of optimizations, so I would love to recommend giving Cryobyte33's content a shot. Why not something that applies universally? Especially his latest video guide and bespoke scripts might give you another fair performance boost for Cyberpunk 2077. It looks like he regularly works on improvements, so make sure to subscribe to his channel. That being said, I have worked on this video since multiple months, as FSR2 was longer in the pipe than you might expect. I'm still relieved it's finally here, and that I can close this chapter at least for now, aside from possible adjustments which may require a new version of this deep dive. Thanks for your patience, and don't forget to like, subscribe and ring the bell in order to not miss out on upcoming stuff. Maybe say hello on our new Discord server, as we sadly lost the old one, and if you want to support my channel, check out the Deckverse Patreon page where you can gain access to early access uploads and exclusive behind the scenes content. Until next time, this is Timo and I see you in the Deckverse.